right, 9:09 here at WRMN. Busy morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. We had Lou Santoyo in last half hour. He's running for Kane County Sheriff. He just declared, and he's really good interview in the last half hour. So thanks, Lou, for introducing yourself and stopping in. Busy morning with all the phone calls coming in, and we'll do it again tomorrow morning. Right now, we're going to talk about another great place here in the area in Kane County in Maple Park. We are joined by Joe Kuiper. He is with Kuiper's Farms, and thank you, Joe, for being with us this morning.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. I'm not sure, was it the Daily Herald? Where did I read about your Tulip Fest started?
Yeah, there's been a couple articles out. I think the most recent one was Monday. So Sunday or Monday was the Chicago Sun-Times was out, or they were out Saturday, but then had an article on Sunday about the Tulip Festival. So, yeah.
So you want to talk about, your name is on the farm, KuipersFamilyFarm.com, but you're a young guy. So maybe you grew up as a part of this family that has been putting the farm together and living on the farm for a long time. Is that right? That's
right. Yep. That's where I was raised. So my parents are the owners and still are pretty involved in the business. And then it is our family. So it is my parents owning it. It's me and my brother are there working full time. My wife's involved as well. And then my mom's parents will be involved too on select weekends when we have a lot of guests. They'll be out there. You'll see them greeting people and welcome to the farm as well.
Yeah. So you're open right now with the Tulip Fest, right? And what are you open year around, or how does Kuiper's Family Farm operate?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we're seasonal. We only open with a couple select seasons. Really, the main two is the spring and the fall.
Gotcha.
So our spring season is starts off with our Tulip Festival, which is happening right now, as you said. That'll open up when the flowers go into bloom. So sometimes usually in late April, and then they'll end when the flowers kind of fade out. So we're expecting in the next week or so. But then we'll take a little bit of break, a week or 2 week break, and then we'll set up for our next event, which is end of May to middle of June. And that's a dinosaur themed event. We just basically take over the farm with these big animated dinosaurs. We call it Dino Farm Adventure.
Nice.
And then we'll be closed for the whole summer, and then we'll reopen again for fall, which is kind of that's our main thing. Our fall is our apple picking. We have a big orchard shop, so about 15,000 square foot of retail space. And then, of course, we have our pumpkin farm, which is where all of our activities, corn, maize, farm animals, all that stuff's at.
It looks like I'm looking at the picture on your website at KuipersFamilyFarm.com. And there's the gift shop. Is that a gift shop right there?
Yeah, right. So those are some good shots of the orchard shop right there. We do our own caramel apples, as you can see there. A lot of our own products, apple cider donuts and that stuff. So that orchard shop's open in the fall. So we'll open end of August and run through. The orchard shop will stay open through Thanksgiving.
Look at that farm. That's huge.
Yeah. So we're on both sides of a township road there, Watson Road. And so we have on one side our apple orchard and our orchard shop and our sunflower fields. And then on the other side of the road is our pumpkin farm, which is also where we do our Tulip Festival and some other events.
Yeah. So where exactly are you located then?
So we're in Maple Park.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know where Maple Park is, we're just west of Elburn.
Pretty small place, so you should be able to find it.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, with Google and Apple Maps these days, you can find pretty much anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maple Park's just west of Elburn, and we're not quite to Maple Park. So really, if you get off Route 47 and go about 5 miles, we're right about there.
5 miles on Watson?
I'm sorry, down 38.
38?
Down 38 or down Kesslinger Road, depending on which way you come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of right between Kesslinger and 38
That's
then?
right. Yep, that's right where we're at.
Okay. So talk about the Tulip Fest a little bit. Maybe just give us some details of it. There's lots of tulips. What can people expect?
Yeah. So Tulip Festival has become one of our favorite seasons. This is our 4th annual Tulip Festival, Midwest Tulip Fest. And it's a lot of fun. So we have this year, we have the most tulips we have planted. So we've got 700,000 tulips in the ground.
700,000?
700,000. Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah, because we plant every single one of them.
Is that right?
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've got about 700,000 tulips, and so they're all planted in a big giant field, a big 8-acre field. Tulips bloom at different times, so that's kind of this field is ever changing in color and look, which is really fun. So you can kind of come at the beginning of the festival and then come at the end of the festival, and you kind of get a different experience. But then in addition to that, we have we have like 30 plus activities on the farm for people of all different ages. We've got a big inflatable jumping pillow and a couple slides. We've got a ropes course. We've got farm animals. We've got a tractor ride on the weekends. We've got live music and food and bars on the weekends as well.
Really?
So we have a lot going on, especially on the weekends.
Yeah. What are your, I know everybody can go to kuipersfamilyfarm.com to find out any information you need to find out, but just for those that are listening right now, do you know your hours day-to-day offhand?
Yeah. So during Tulip Festival, right now our hours are 10 to 7 on Friday and Saturday, and then 10 to 6 Sunday through Thursday. So we're open 7 days a week, open at 10 o'clock every day, and then we just extend that extra hour to 7 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays.
Wow. So how many varieties of tulips do you grow? And it must take a lot of people, a lot of planting to make that all happen, right?
Yeah. I'll explain the process a little bit because it's kind of interesting. We have over 30 different varieties, and so with that, tulips, as I mentioned, they have there's different varieties that do different things. So there's an early variety, which will be the first ones to bloom, and they'll kind of come up at the same time as if you've got daffodils at your house. Early tulips are just starting to open up when daffodils are in full bloom. And then the late varieties will usually stretch about 2 weeks, a week and a half to 2 weeks after the early varieties. So we've got early, middles, and lates for our season. Over 30 different ones. And then the planting process is really interesting. So all of our bulbs are coming directly from the Netherlands. They come over in a big cargo container.
Really?
And then we'll get them in these big plastic crates. And then I think each crate holds like 250. And then we've got a bulb planter that we bought from the Netherlands and had that shipped over with our bulbs a couple years back. And so this bulb planter goes on the back of a tractor, and basically it's got this big giant hopper on it. We'll take 12 of those crates and dump them in at a time. And then we'll go down the row and it'll plant a 4-foot wide section. And so it basically is a big crew. One guy rides in the tractor, one guy rides in the back. And then the rest of the crew is just running around organizing tulips, laying out in front of the people who are planting. And it's like probably takes about 12 of us, maybe 2 days to get it all done.
Wow, but you got a big machine that helps you make that all happen.
That's right. Yeah, a couple machines, because we'll get in front of it to till the ground all up with a couple different tractors. And then that tulip planter on the tractor really does the most of the work, getting the bulbs actually in the ground, getting the ground laid back over it nice. So yeah, it's quite the process.
Wow. 917, we have Joe Kuiper with us for a little bit. If anybody has any thoughts, you can call in. 847-931-1410 is the number to call. That's 847-931-1410. I'm paying attention to our YouTube feed at WRMN Radio on YouTube, and also the Image 360 information line, 505-926-1410. We have somebody commenting on the YouTube feed. Hodson Event Entertainment says, Kuiper's is one of my favorite places to DJ weddings. So you have weddings out there, huh? What it seems like a great place for a wedding.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's funny that got brought up right away. So we were in the wedding business for about 8 or so years.
Yeah.
And then in the last 2 years, as our other seasons, especially our Tulip Fest, has really grown, we kind of decided that, you know what, we wanted to focus more on some of these seasonal events. So we actually don't do weddings anymore. But we just have been putting all of our energy into these seasonal events, and it just becomes a great place for families to come out and have a good experience. So,
yeah. So as far as getting back to the Tulip Fest a little bit, how long has the Tulip Fest been going on?
So this is our 4th year.
Okay.
So, we started in 2022. This will be our 4th year. We're going to continue on because we think it's been going pretty well. People have really been enjoying it. But yeah, so we've learned a lot in the last couple of years of doing it, a lot of different strategies we've taken. And like I said, this is one thing we've definitely learned, is that we want a nice big field for people to enjoy. So this is our biggest field yet.
Do you actually live there now, or did you grow up on the farm there?
I grew up on the farm, and then I live like 1 minute away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you live in Maple Park then?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I live in a little neighborhood that the farm kind of butts up to a small rural neighborhood. So I live in that neighborhood just about a minute from the farm.
Yeah. How many generations of your family have been working on the farm now?
So I'm only the 2nd generation.
Okay.
So my parents were the founders, but agriculture's been in my family. As most families, you can trace back to agriculture. My family, even my grandpa, had a produce farm in Geneva when my dad was growing up. So it's been in our blood for quite a while.
Yeah. 9:19 here at WRMN. You mentioned before we went on the air that you got to get used to this, right? Because you're going to get some exposure. Where else?
We're going to be on, I think WGN's going to be out at the farm for Tulip Fest on
television station?
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, WGN TV. I think they're going to be out. I'm going to be on a segment in the morning on Sunday.
On Sunday morning on WGN TV.
That's right.
If you want to see more of Joe and learn about the Tulip Farm. So let's see. Have you noticed any trends that you've had to adapt to at Tulip's Farm over the years at the Kuiper's family farm?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the thing that we've learned as we've kind of dove into a different season is in the fall season, we've kind of noticed, especially, in years past, that it's, one group of people who like to come out. It's a lot of families with kids and all that. As we've kind of gotten into, first it was with sunflowers, and now we've kind of gotten into this Tulip Festival thing as well. We've noticed lots of groups of, adults that come out and enjoy, people who don't necessarily have kids or are bringing kids out to an event like this. Just groups of adults that want to come out and enjoy it, have a great time. So I think that's been kind of a cool thing, is just kind of these different events have kind of expanded a little bit who we're appealing to. So really we see anybody from, retired age people to groups of adults to, young families coming out, and everybody can pretty much have a good time there.
Yeah. And you said there's actually an area for a bar, things like that, so people can hang out. They can partake in the Tulip Fest for a while, but they can just kind of hang out and chill for a while too, right?
That's right. Yeah. So on the weekends, we'll do live music and we'll run our bars.
Nice.
And then our bars, we've got a pretty good selection there because we've got beer and wine. We have some of our own branded wines, and then we have some partnerships with a cidery and a brewery. And so we actually have our own hard cider. And this year, we actually have a beer we call Kuiper's Heritage, which is made by Obscurity Brewing in Elburn.
Nice.
And that's a Tulip Fest themed beer. So it's a kind of a little bit of a nod to our Dutch ancestor, because Kuiper's is a Dutch last name. So that's been kind of a cool thing, is that we actually have our own beer now to kind of go along with our Tulip Fest.
Yeah. How about food? You got any food out there?
We got a lot of good food.
Yeah?
A lot of really good food. Yeah. So we have a couple different places to get food. So every day you come out to visit, we've got G's Smokehouse open. G's Smokehouse has a great selection of different food.
It's like a food truck, or
it's a food vendor we work with that works out of one of our facilities, one of our kitchens.
Yeah.
And they do great food. I mean, if you like, anything from barbecue to good like wrap type sandwiches, any of that stuff, they've got a great selection. And then we've got a couple of our own concession areas where we do our apple cider donuts, are what's kind of what we're known for, but we do slushies, and we've got a couple new things. We got personal pizzas and that type of stuff. And then on the weekends, we'll pack the place full of food truck options too. So that way you can pretty much get anything from Mexican food to, we've had a pierogi truck out. So we've had a lot of really good selections.
When you have the outdoor bands and things like that on the weekends, are they outdoor? Is it outdoors where the bands perform?
That's right. Yeah, it's all.
Yeah.
Most of the farm is outdoor. There's a couple indoor barns with different games and seating areas and that type of stuff. But most of the farm is outdoors, and that's what we're all about, is getting outside and enjoying the weather. Nice.
So, how often do you have the live music? I know the weather's been kind of up and down so far. It's been very up and down in the month of April. So do you wait a while till summertime before you start to do the live stuff?
The live music corresponds with our events. So,
Gotcha.
So it'll be on the weekends when we're doing our Tulip Festival. We'll have live bands out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, we have about 5 more minutes or so. And you were talking about the Tulip Fest a little bit, but I was clicking around your website a little bit. And one of the things you mentioned earlier in the interview was the pumpkin farm. Fun farm, and obviously that takes place a little closer to Halloween. While we have you here, you just want to talk about some of the other events that we can expect later in the year?
Yeah. I'll start with the fun farm there. So the fun farm is kind of cool because the fun farm is actually where our Tulip Fest takes place too. So if you go on our website and you look through the activities, a lot of those activities actually are taking place right now for Tulip Fest as well. So that's kind of a fun thing. So people can get a little bit of that taste of fall in the springtime. But those activities, as I mentioned, there's a couple slides, there's a big inflatable jump pillow, there's, a ball toss area. In the fall, we'll have a giant corn pit. So a whole bunch of stuff there. And then in the fall, that whole area is themed around pumpkins. So you can see it there in the video that there's tons of pumpkins we have available, all sorts of different specialty heirloom pumpkins you can decorate your house with. And then And then in the fall, we'll also have our corn maze going. We'll have a hay wagon ride. But even right now, there's over 30 different activities. So, I mean, people can easily spend an entire day there and still not get everything done.
Great place for kids, obviously.
100%, yeah.
To come hang out. 9:24 here at WRMN with Joe Kuiper. So we have the Pumpkin Fest, and we also have the Sunflower Fest. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, so our Sunflower Fest happens at the very beginning of our fall season. So as I mentioned, we open about the third week in August is when we'll open up for the season. And the reason we're opening up that early is because that's when apples are ready. We've got apples that are ready to pick as early as the second week of August, which we'll go pick ourselves. But when we open up, we would like to get people out picking apples. But not everybody thinks about picking apples in August when it's still a little warmer out. They like to wait till September and October. But we thought it'd be really fun to kind of pair our early season apple picking, which there's some really good early varieties of apples that are ready in August. We wanted to pair that with something kind of cool. So we started doing the Sunflower Festival. So we'll plant about 5 to 7 acres of sunflowers. And so guests can come out and pick a bucket of sunflowers to take home to decorate their house, as well as go pick some apples to take home and eat.
9:25 here at WRMN. So if you are interested in bringing the family out, or even maybe scheduling a field trip, you have group packages available, I guess. And I'm clicking on the field trip section right now. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So our field trips have always been part of what we do. So we're big on, our farm's motto is connecting people with agriculture and each other, creating a space for people to connect with a real farm and to connect with their friends and families when they visit. Field Trips, I think, does a great job of really connecting kids to agriculture and learning about where their food is coming from. So in the fall, we offer 2 different field trip options. The first one is our apple orchard field trip, which is an educational one. Groups will come out and they'll learn about where apples come from, kind of how they're grown, how bees play into the whole growth process of apples. Learn a bit about the challenges that we face in growing apples, and then they'll get to try some apple cider and get to try an apple as well. So that's a really fun one. And then the other one we have in the fall season is our Pumpkin Fun Farm field trip, which is all that stuff I described at the Pumpkin Fun Farm. Kids will get to come out and just burn energy and just have a great time. But again, connecting them to where a real farm is.
And also you have private events and tours available. This is all available on the website, but we're down to about a minute and a half here or so. So you want to talk about that, how you schedule what that's all about? Yeah.
So we do have, because we are an event space, we like to leave ourselves open for any other events that come up. So we've had some pretty big corporate parties go on at our farm over the years. So that can range in size and scope from before reopening the farm, that somebody will come and rent out the entire fun farm. It could also be as small as you just want to bring a birthday party group out to enjoy the fun farm. And so we'll have a little private area set up for you in that way.
It's KuipersFamilyFarm.com, and the Tulip Fest is going on right now. It's 9:27 here at WRMN. And let's see, we have Trusty Pat checking in. He says, I wonder if Joe has visited Rendleman Orchards in Alto Pass, Illinois. They have similar types of sunflower patches and flowers in their orchard.
I have not visited them, but I'm familiar with them. We're pretty well connected to a lot of different agritourism is the term we use, agritourism farms in the state and really in the country. We belong to a couple different organizations. So it's a pretty tight-knit group because it is kind of a unique business to be in. There's a lot of different challenges from the agricultural side to the business side. So it's good to have those colleagues to run ideas by and kind of share your best do's and don'ts.
Well, the Midwest Tulip Fest is now open, and you say you close for the summertime. So how long does the Tulip Fest go on for then?
Yeah, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? I think right now it looks like we're going to be open through Mother's Day, but we might not be open beyond that. So I would say if it sounds like something you'd want to come visit, make your plans to come in the next week, because right now the tulips look beautiful, and then we'll stretch it as long as we can, but eventually Mother Nature says it's time for them to go dormant. So
right. Well, that's great. I appreciate you taking the time to be here today. Again, if you want to find out more about Kuiper's Family Farm, that's the website, KuipersFamilyFarm.com, spelled Kuiper, Kuiper's Family Farm. And if you want to see more with Joe, you can watch you on Sunday morning on WGN TV a little bit, right?
That's right. Thanks for having me on.
Man. Thanks for coming in.
Really, really appreciate it.
Joe Kuiper, Kuiper's Family Farm. It's WRMN Morning Show coming up on 9:30 here on this Thursday morning. And I'll be back with another half hour of this show, the community hour before Matt takes over with Out to Lunch. So keep it right here. Thanks for listening on this, what had been a wet but drying Thursday morning.